Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cloverly Academy. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, tech entrepreneur Hayley Melidonis. Hayley Melidonis is a global business development executive and entrepreneur with 15 years of experience in technology, media, and travel. Hayley has worked with companies like Uber, Intel, and Nokia, and launched innovations such as autonomous vehicles and augmented reality. Thanks for joining us today, Hayley.
Thanks for having me, Sophia. Excited for the talk.
So, Haley, I want to talk a little bit about your experience with global brands like Uber, Intel, Nokia, Virgin. How have they influenced your approach to building a strong personal and business brand?
Yeah, well, obviously, some of the brands I've worked for are some of the biggest brands in the world. I'm very lucky to have worked for Virgin and Uber and Nokia in the day, and Intel to that for that matter. And so, I guess it started. I did marketing and branding at university, so I already had what I would call an academic understanding of it. And from the academic side of it, it is about psychology. So, brand management and building a brand is about psychology. It's about consistency. It's about authenticity. It's about focus. And so definitely in terms of like my private life, well, not my private, but my career and my personal brand, when I've gone through life, I would argue I haven't been entirely like focused on I'm going to build my personal brand. I don't know if I've been that intentional, but it is, I guess, natural to me to build my own personal brand based on what I knew from working into these companies and what I learned. Companies like Uber, for example, they state their brand around their mission usually. And why they do that is so that they can extend their brand to new things. So in the case of Uber, it's about moving things and people around, I think, the best or something. I mean, there's a way they say it, but that's so they could do grocery delivery and they could do, ride share and they could do car rental because it's moving people and things. That's a very broad mission and a vision. And then they kind of translate that into the brand. One thing about brands, I think, is they're about people. I've always thought that people, and I've said this in probably another podcast, like people buy things, at least today until we have robots, but people buy things from brands, not things buy things from brands. So branding for me is all about reputation. Now, when it comes to like my businesses that I've done for myself, my entrepreneurial businesses. So first there was a heli ski company. And the way I positioned myself in that was authentically. So I was not a ski racer. I was not Lindsey Vonn. But here I am recommending to people where to go heli skiing. And the way I did that was I talked authentically, like I'm a girl from Australia. And if I can do it, you can do it. I'm not a ski racer. So it was very much about being one of the people who might have the fears and not know what to do or where to go and helping coach people along to get them to take that step. In the case of Bubble, which the company I'm building now, the platform I'm building now, Bubble is all about meeting people in real life. It's all about connection, and it's all about like what I call Bubble for Better. And Bubble for Better is about like you might like optimizing, like you get a better place or a closer place, or you just get more fun people to hang out with. Like there's benefits to doing co-living and pop-up co-living, which is what Bubble is. And in my personal brand, I ran these houses. I ran co-living houses for a number of years. I met my husband in a co-living house. Go figure. Could Bubble be the next Bumble? Yes. That's a funny saying that we may end up playing with. You know what I mean? So I definitely think I could do this brand because A, I'd lived the share house thing, but secondly, I traveled the world and I've also been a nomad. So that authenticity, I think, is super important, and that consistency and focus is what I learned.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, just the personalness of it all and the consistency in your branding while you're adapting to the unique needs of each project, each venture, and how you can kind of combine those into, one brand, one founder. Now, what advice would you give authors and entrepreneurs who are looking to create a brand that resonates with, say, a niche audience?
Well, okay. So I guess heli skiing was that for me because that was a niche audience. Everyone said, make it wider, make it for all skiers. I was like, no. Bubble is about the aspirational bucket list item. It's about the thing that you like might be scared of doing. It was about fear and overcoming that. Keep your North Star, write your mission and vision. keep that and keep looking at it. I have a document called brand strategy. I geek out on this, so I love this. So I have a document. I share it with everyone. Anyone who works for me reads my brand vision document. It's a brand strategy document, and it talks about everything from messaging pillars to our mission, our vision, our positioning statement. There's like a template, and our logo. Even the logo took me a month. Okay, a month to design, and there's an infinity sign. It's very intentional, and let it. The other thing I would say is kind of let it come to you. Like let that creation, talk to people. Don't do it overnight. Nothing happens overnight. But yeah, if you're building a niche product, really think about, okay, what are the needs of that audience? What am I addressing? And why don't I want to be mainstream? And why do I want to focus on this niche thing? And in the case of heli skiing, it was like, okay, it's perceived as being unaffordable and unreachable because it's kind of scary. The truth is, it's not. You don't jump out of a helicopter. I've never jumped out of a helicopter. I have gone out of a helicopter with 2 skids out of 4, like only 1 skid, sorry. I have done that. I like the thrill of that, but that's not all heli skiing. You definitely don't have to do that type of heli skiing. So yeah, that's kind of the advice I'd give. Just focus on the North Star.
Yeah, I like that. Center yourself back on the path, on the vision and the mission. Now, what role, you touched a little bit on storytelling. So I want to dive a little deeper into that. What role does storytelling play in branding, and how can that storytelling and those techniques be leveraged to make personal or professional brands more compelling?
I think storytelling is essential. It's number one. And in fact, I just got off a meeting with my team who are helping me with my social media because I don't have the time. And we are all talking about storytelling. Bubble, okay, so to give you the example with Bubble. So Bubble is a platform. In fact, we actually say our mission is to build a more social, inclusive world, one bubble at a time. Each bubble has a story to tell. So therefore, we're going to have and it's about infinite travel possibilities. So we're going to have an infinite number of stories to tell. So storytelling is really important because people relate to stories. Let's remember, people buy from brands, not things. Okay. So I relate to a story if I understand it and it's clear and it's simple. My story about meeting my husband in the kitchen in a bubble, in a share bubble, while he was making bacon in his robe for everyone in the kitchen. And he turned around and goes, "Would you like some bacon?" That was how I met my husband. That's a great story. It was true. And I think it's a great story because it went to show what I'm doing with Bubble is that, like, this organic serendipitous moment happened in a funny way. And it becomes a funny story too, which is also fun.
Yeah, well, for brands and especially for authors, I'm thinking of they have so many stories. And to be able to craft a story from a story and a brand from your story and just kind of it makes so much sense and it becomes easier when you think of it from that perspective. Hayley, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on branding.
Oh, you're welcome.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
They can connect us with us on bubble.co, or which is www.bubbl.co. You can become an organizer, a traveler, or you can be a traveler and take a look at Bubble, and it's incredible. And I hope that you enjoy it. Or find me on LinkedIn, Hayley Melidonis.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with tech entrepreneur Hayley Melidonis. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.